2025. Now we're going to move on to some Edgerrin Cooper talk. Really, really excited about this. We're going to start it off with a PFF article that I thought was really interesting. You know, we've been hitting these a lot here lately where it's breaking down the positional rankings. So let's go to PFF linebacker rankings, top 32 ahead of the 2025 NFL season. All right. And I just want to mention it. It mentions a couple here on the front side. Fred Warner stands alone. The four-time All-Pro has a long history of elite plays in all facets, having charted as a top 5 linebacker in each of the past 5 seasons. Look at the only other player it mentions with Fred Warner. Edgerrin Cooper could become a household name. Cooper's return from injury was out of this world with his 91.3 PFF overall grade from Week 15 onward, leading the NFL. The sky's the limit for the young defensive force in 2025. So here is the list in order. And I love that they broke them down into tiers. Tier 1, Fred Warner of the San Francisco 49ers. Tier 2, you got Zach Bond of the Philadelphia. Yeah, Philadelphia.
What a difference a Super Bowl makes, right?
Look at the PFF grades, Tim.
Yeah.
65, 44, 50, 71, and then bang, 90. One of these don't belong. I'm not going to be surprised if he comes back down to earth and, somewhere in the 60 to 70 range. But nonetheless, he's in tier 2, number 2 on this list. Also in tier 2, Bobby Wagner, the one that got away, right?
Here's a guy.
He's number 3. Number 4, Roquan Smith of the Baltimore Ravens. The Bears thought he sucked. They sent him packing, and what happened? He became a star. Dre Greenlaw is number 5. Then you get into tier 3, and you've got Bobby Okereke, I think is how you say that name. Then you got of the Giants, you got Devin Lloyd of the Jaguars, Jack Campbell of the Lions, and then our very own number 9 is Edgerrin Cooper of the Green Bay Packers. Again, Edgerrin Cooper is considered by PFF to be the 9th best stack backer in the entire National Football League. It says a hamstring injury may have limited Cooper to just over 500 snaps in his rookie season, but his level of play at just 23 years old is undeniable. Cooper stands as one of just 2 linebackers to have generated a 74.0 plus PFF grade in all 3 major defensive facets in 2024, run defense, coverage, and pass rush. He can do it all, with the other being Zach Bond. His return from injury was out of this world with his 91.3 PFF overall grade from Week 15 onward, leading the NFL. The sky's the limit for this young defensive force in 2025. As you can see here, finished the season with an 85.7 PFF grade, Tim. Absolutely wild, man.
Yeah, you got to love Coop, man. And look at the company he's being mentioned with, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Fred Warner, I don't know how much of an argument there is, but he's probably the best stack backer in the NFL. And then, a guy like Zach Bond, who obviously popped last year and turned that into a extension, and we'll see what happens for him. But, Edgerrin Cooper right there in the mix, and he's played barely a full season of NFL football. So I think year 2 is going to be something for the books when it comes to Edge Coop, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, so let's jump into the other article we put up here on the Patreon group, Top 5 Reasons Edgerrin Cooper is a Star. In today's NFL, linebackers need to be versatile, fast like a safety, instinctive like a chess master, able to diagnose and disrupt plays. Few have this rare mix, but Green Bay's Edgerrin Cooper is proving he does. He's a superstar in the making. Here are 5 reasons why Cooper is the future of the Packers defense and on track for NFL stardom. This isn't hype. It's a breakdown of a player transforming Green Bay's defense. Let's dive in. Reason number 1, freakish game-breaking athleticism. Edgerrin Cooper's explosive athleticism is undeniable. At the NFL Combine, the 6'2", 230-pound linebacker ran a 4.51 40-yard dash, blazing speed for his size. On the field, this translates to shooting gaps on blitzes, chasing down running backs, and erasing angles. Defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley described a play where Cooper closed an 8-yard gap on a screen pass to make the tackle, quote, eating up the grass. His 9.34 RAS, or relative athletic score, ranks him among the most athletic linebacker prospects since 1987, combining explosion, agility, and speed. This lets him recover from rare mistakes, as his college coach Jimbo Fisher noted, making him a weapon against spread offenses. Jacob, we got us one, man. We got us a dog in Coop.
Yeah, 100%. And I wasn't actually aware that he had that high of an RAS. I guess that kind of floated past me. And what's crazy? Can you scroll up just a tidbit? Look at that young man right there. That ain't what
ain't what he looks like now.
That ain't what he looks like now, bro. He's been eating some of them Wheaties and eating some of them protein shakes a little bit there. And I'm so excited because he's such a good person. He's such a good fit for this community, for this team. Tim, can we try to get him going fishing too? Maybe get him going.
Well, he's already beat me to it, man.
Did he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nicole Hardman have already been on the river.
We in my family we got about 200 and some odd hunting acres of some land. So let's try to get Edgerrin Cooper. If you want to get going, we'll take you turkey hunting. I'll take you bow hunting, wherever you want to do, dude. Let's go.
Absolutely.
He's as country as cornbread, dude. Yeah. I love it.
I think Coop's a hog hunter, man. He likes.
Yeah, he's a hog hunter.
Yeah, he's
got
hunter.
like 6 dogs, I think, that live with him in the house.
And he's got a couple horses, including Frosty, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Drew D says most athletic linebacker prospect since 1987, and we got him in the second round. Somebody put some spec on Goody's name for sure. Daryl, that's all right. All right, moving on to number 2 here, an elite football mind. Athleticism gets you noticed, but football IQ, what we refer to on here as FBI, makes you a star. Cooper's ability to read and react in a split second sets him apart. Coaches praise his recognition skills. He doesn't just react, he anticipates. Film study at Texas A&M honed this, letting him play faster by knowing what's coming. As a rookie, despite missing training camp time due to injury, as the hammy that we talked about, he quickly earned trust by mastering his role and understanding the defense as a whole. His college coordinator, DJ Durkin, helped pair his physical tools with a pro-level preparation. Veterans like Kenny Clark call him a reliable playmaker, combining athleticism with this mental edge makes Cooper a nightmare for offenses. I love that they're mentioning the mental aspect of his game, Tim. It's not just about those elite skills.
He was the best guy around.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the we're going to get to reason number 3 here, the undeniable rookie impact. I think it's because the biggest thing, we talk about the physical part of it, we talk about the athletic part of it, but I don't think people were prepared for Edge Coop's FBI as a rookie. And it just seemed that as soon as they put him in the mix, he understood what was going on. And, we've talked about it a few times. The biggest gripe they had was, gap assignments sometimes, maybe getting a little left or right of your gap assignment. But bottom line, man, this guy's a playmaker. And, I hate to jump the gun, but it does. It reminds me of a young Luke Kuechly, a guy who came into the league and could just understand what the play was before
immediately.
Immediately. And you combine that with, being a physical freak and having the athletic traits that it takes to play at this level. I mean, yeah, you've got a potential superstar in the NFL in Edge Coop for sure.
Yeah, we got royalty in the chat here tonight. Cheesehead Murph in the house. I made it. Damn it. Go back.
Murph.
Everybody sit up straight. Murph's in the house. All right, reason number 3, undeniable rookie impact. Potential means nothing without production, and Cooper delivered as a rookie. Playing about half the defensive snaps, he racked up 77 tackles. Again, he played half the snaps, 77 tackles, 13 of those for a loss, 3.5 sacks from the stack backer position, an interception, a forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. His 13 tackles for a loss ranked second among all off-ball linebackers, what we refer to as stack backers, the most by a rookie since 2012. He earned NFC Defensive Player of the Week twice. That was in Week 8 and 15, becoming the first Packers rookie to do so in a single season. He was also named NFL Defensive Rookie of the Month for December and January and made the PFWA All-Rookie team. His growth from situational player to linebacker core was a sign of a future superstar. Jacob, we talk about this, dude. I said it last year, and I'm sure people rolled their eyes. I have not seen a Packers linebacker come into the league and just immediately dominate the way he did. I'm a huge A.J. Hawk fan. I think A.J. Hawk is extremely underappreciated in the Packers, amongst Packer fans. The dude was a team captain for years. He's got a Super Bowl ring. Before that, he has a national championship ring. The dude has just won everywhere he's went. He was the green dot. He was the kind of the leader on that defense, right there in the middle of that defense. Not the best player on defense, but he was one of if not the most important leaders on it, right? Not even A.J. Hawk, again, AJ Hawk did not look like this at any point in his career. He did not look the way Cooper did last year, man. It's really odd.
Yeah, like Tim was just mentioning, it's a unique kind of situation where you see, well, what's the guy's weakness? Well, he diagnoses plays too quickly and gets away from his gap assignment. Meaning, like, he'll just go make the play. Yeah, he'll just absolutely like not do what he was supposed to do, but he ends up with like a 3-yard loss. Okay, I'll take that and work with it. Like you said, I love AJ Hawk. Absolutely love him till the day I die. The guy did not come in with the type of FBI that Edgerrin Cooper has. And you look at the way that he just is fluid. I think that some of the plays you watch, how he reads and diagnoses, and just once he sees it, he shoots. And he is just an absolute demon like that, man. I mean, human meat missile, bro. That's literally the definition. He showed it was kind of a big joke, right? But he's the definition of it. He sees, he diagnosed, he gets sent, and he blows the play up. And it's freaking fun to watch, dude. And hey, for once in Athens' career, he had something positive to say about the Packers, which I thought I would highlight.
We got breaking news here.
Let's call a spade a spade. He says he's more athletic than Luke Kuechly. Well, how about that? And by the way, that's Luke. Thank you, Tim. Luke Kuechly he looked like Superman. He looked like Clark Kent without, when he doesn't pull the suit off and all that kind of stuff. But the guy came to play, right? Like, he was an absolute monster when he decided to turn it on. I honestly do feel like that's a great comparison, because if you talk to Edge outside of the game, he's just a nice, happy-go-lucky, like, he's smiling. He's just a nice guy, he just seems like the guy you want to have a beer with or whatever. But all of a sudden he gets on the field and he turns into a freaking demon, dude.
I agree with AFAM's comment there, like maybe the Kuechly comparison.
Which one?
Well, the one he's talking about. Maybe he's
don't agree with the most recent one here, Tim. Whatever you do, geez, Pete.
Oh, no, I'm not even paying attention anymore.
Thank God somebody's
strictly talking ball right now. Shout out to AFAM's mom; she's got it going on. But anyways, no, I think the comparison to Kuechly is warranted, and his point is true. Like, Edge Cooper is probably more athletic, more physically gifted than even a Luke Kuechly. And if you've watched any tape on Luke Kuechly, the dude was a freak. And so you combine the FBI with the physical, attributes, it's lights out. And, I think AFAM's right, man. I think Edge Coop is probably more of an athlete than even Luke Kuechly.
Yeah. Steve DTA in the chat says it's nice to be back with Clayton and Tim and Bray Wyatt on PTA Live. I've been gone for a good long minute. Nice to be back. I love this time of year, Steve, because everybody needs a break, right? I mean, I'm a weirdo. I think about the Packers 365 days a year. My wife's like, you're insane. But I love this time of year as we close in on training camp. All the old listeners start trickling back in, right? It's going to be a blast having everybody back in. Appreciate you swinging through, buddy. Let's go on to number 4. Reason number 4. Bray Wyatt, wasn't he? Am I thinking right? He's a wrestler?
Here's the guy.
Google Bray Wyatt, Jacob. You got a phone there, sir. I'm trying to run a podcast here.
My internet sucks. Y'all should know that.
You're ready to go.
You're ready to go. Reason number 4, the relentless drive to dominate. All right. Talent and production are key, but Cooper's drive to improve sets him apart. In his first offseason, he added muscle to handle the NFL's physicality without losing speed. Head coach Matt LaFleur noted, quote, he still looks as explosive as ever. I think, what did he say he put on? 20 pounds it was, I believe. All-pro safety Xavier McKinney praised his intentional approach, saying, quote, he's serious about what he wants to do. LaFleur also highlighted Cooper's growing confidence and deeper defensive understanding, allowing him to play faster. This commitment to turning weaknesses into strengths and elevating his strengths is what makes stars into legends. And when you look at the PFF grades from last year, just going week by week here, I'm going to rattle them off to you guys.
Wow.
Starting in week 1, 81, 71, 76, 66, 70, 78, 79, 87, 64, 60, 85, 81. His PFF grade on the year ended up being a 90.8 here, according to this metric. I think that's correct. That is correct. So actually the 90.8, that's really weird that they got it at a 90.8. He didn't finish with a 90.8, finished with like an 85 is what his total PFF grade was. So I'm not sure what the number is there at the bottom. But what's crazy is look at how he got better in college. When you're talking about a player ascending as he enters the league, 60, 64, 66, and then 90.8 his last year in college. So these were his college grades. That's right. So he did finish a 90.8. I don't know why I was thinking it's PFF Pro. But you're seeing a player that had played his best football in the last 5 games of the season. And Goody, I'm telling you, Goody takes note of that stuff. And Edgerrin Cooper is one of those players. The reason I wasn't as high on him is I looked at that and said, man, there are other linebackers that graded significantly higher for 2 years, you know? And PFF isn't everything, but it's like if you got to choose between the two, I'm probably going with the guy who graded out in the 80s the last 2 years in college as opposed to the guy who had that one good year coming in. But when you really break it down into great detail, he was ascending coming into the league. Number 5, the journey and foundation. Cooper's path explains his potential. Raised in Covington, Louisiana, in a football family, he grew up steeped in the game. A 4-star recruit with 118 tackles his senior year at Covington High. He sharpened his skills at Texas A&M in the SEC's pressure cooker. His senior year, he was a consensus All-American and first-team All-SEC, leading the Aggies with 84 tackles, 17 for a loss, and 8 sacks. This high-stakes experience built leadership and preparation. Even when injured in his first NFL camp, he stayed engaged, taking mental reps. His Louisiana roots and SEC-honed foundation fuel his drive to be the best. Here's the
Quay Walker. Hold on. We can't talk about that without talking about Quay, because Quay was the dude that took him under his arm and kind of like kept him engaged while he was physically unable to perform during camp and stuff. So let's give Quay his flowers, as the kids say. And, veteran leadership helping a rookie. And I believe that that's a big reason why Coop hit the ground running when he finally saw the field.
Yeah.
And just a real quick on that note, Tim, like Emilio brings up quite a bit. Isn't it true that they've only spent 2 games together starting?
I believe so. I think it was 1 or 2 games.
Or 1 or 2. That's
actually been on the field together.
That's what should make you guys more excited than anything. Is we're about to see. I'm thinking of the Mighty Ducks, the Bash Brothers, the guys that would just go mess. Yeah, so what's up?
This would really explain the decision to move on from Eric Wilson. I think in the linebacker and stick with Zay, stick with Hopper, stick with Coop, stick with Quay. And then, obviously bringing Simmons in was a good move too. So I agree wholeheartedly.
So we broke down the PFF grades in college. Here is how Cooper fared in his rookie year in Green Bay. And you'll notice minimal snaps the first 2 games of the season, 11 snaps and 7 snaps. But week by week, here were his PFF grades. 85, 57, 65, 41. Right there. After 4 weeks, you're going, I don't know, man. The more snaps he got a little bit worse, right? Then bang, 85, 81, back down to 34, 74, 64, down to a 53. And then against Seattle, at Seattle, 93.8 with a 93.0 coverage grade and a pass rush grade of 82.4. And then in week 16, 81.2, week 17, 80.1. Week 18 against Chicago was a 76.2. And then in the wild card game, the most important game of the season, even though the Packers lost, graded out with a 78.4 against the Philadelphia Eagles, playing 60 snaps in that game. What's wild is you could see a lot of green all across the board trickled in here, right? I mean, there's some games where his run defense was like a 91.5 at Minnesota. And then there were some games where his tackle grade was an 81.6 at home against Arizona. And then you look at his pass rush grade against Jacksonville, at Jacksonville, a 90.7. And then you hop down to his best coverage grade game was at Seattle with a 93.0. Pretty wild, man. Coach Lynn says, only game Quay and Cooper played together was the playoff game versus the Eagles. Wow. I did not know that. That's crazy. Very interesting.
So it was one game.
Yep.
Yeah. So the season grade ended up being an 85.7 overall defensive grade, a run defense grade of 77.4, tackle grade of 57.2, pass rush grade of 90.0, and that coverage grade is what I'm most excited about, man, a 77.3 coverage grade. Absolutely awesome. Here we go. Let's go to the conclusion, and we'll get your all's final take on it. There you have it. Cooper's game-changing athleticism, elite football mind, immediate impact, relentless drive, and strong foundation. He's not just a rising star. He's a cornerstone for the Packers. The blueprint for a modern linebacker and on track to be a Pro Bowler or All-Pro. What do you think? Are you excited about Cooper's future? Hit the like button if you believe he's the next great Packers linebacker. Subscribe for more breakdowns and comment which reason convinces you most that Edgerrin Cooper is a star. If we missed something, guys, hit us up in the comments here on YouTube and on X. Guys, you have the floor. Final takes on the Edgerrin Cooper breakdown.
Which reason convinces you most that Edgerrin Cooper is a star? Gee, let me think. Athletic ability. It's tough to narrow it down to one, right? But I would go back to my point earlier. I think it's his ability to grasp the game at the NFL level as quickly as he has. And, things like being gap sound and, that kind of stuff, they'll clean that up. And I fully anticipate with, another 10 or 12 pounds of muscle on the frame and another year in this system, sky's the limit for Edge Coop, man.
Yeah, Tim kind of stole my thunder. I was going to say how he absolutely, the FBI was unreal. Like you watch, like I just remember kind of like the Madden view of him against the Vikings and him just shedding blocks and shooting a gap and making a stop in the backfield and just looking at it like that's like a work of art, man. Like that. I mean, that is Ray Lewis. That's Luke Kuechly. That is that type of level of NFL ball play. And you look at the fact that he is very young. He's at the time was even undersized compared to what he is now. And then just the fluidity at which he just easily goes between blockers. He doesn't take on blockers. He avoids them, which is, again, something I played linebacker not well. I did it, and it's real hard. It's real hard when you got a bunch of hog mollies running at you to look at the line, to see the running back, wherever the ball carrier may be, and to avoid getting contact so you can go make contact. And he seems to do it with a way of like, it's almost incredible to watch. And again, the fact that he added 15, 20 pounds of muscle on that frame. All right, there's a scary human meat missile.
It is the definition of one, right? So let's move on to safety talk now. All right.
Can I say one thing real quick? Sorry.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Before we go into safeties, just because Steve DTA, who actually here believes in Isaiah Simmons.
This guy right here. I do.
I kind of do. Look at me like Forrest Gump on the boat. I do.
for me, listen, I'm from Kentucky. You got to show me. He's not been a dominant player in the NFL. However, he's played a lot of games. He's been available. He's been accountable in that regard. He was the 8th overall pick. You don't get drafted 8th overall in the NFL and not be a good football player to some certain extent. The fact that they've had him jumping around in different positions everywhere he's went, I love that he said that earlier this offseason, that I'm really excited that they're actually letting me play linebacker and just linebacker. That could be absolutely huge. So I'm cautiously optimistic is where I'm at on it.
Me too. Just like Jacob's coach when he put him in at linebacker.
Hey.
Coach Dager's asking the important questions. Who the hell put you at linebacker?